Good morning. It's like perfect weather today. It's like 50 degrees and sunny. I think this is going to be a nice run. I just picked up yesterday the Puma Fast-R Nitro Elite version 3, which is the now super hyped up, sold out everywhere shoe. I was able to get a pair the first day from Running Warehouse. I tried to get it from Puma's website. It was already sold out. I did get a pair from Running Warehouse. I did pay for them with my own money because still no one sends me any shoes, so completely unbiased review here. But what I'm actually wearing right now are the Alphafly 3, and the reason for that is Puma's made a lot of really strong claims about this new shoe, that it has 3.15% more efficient than any other shoe, but then it looks like they're saying that's more than the Fast-R version 2. So I'm not really sure exactly what the claim is, but they're bringing lots of people to their lab, having them bring whatever shoe they want, run on the treadmill and compare them, and they're showing efficiency gains for pretty much anybody who wears that shoe. Now, to me, that's kind of hard to believe, just because runners are so different. Some people heel strike, some people midfoot strike, some people forefoot strike, some people weigh over 200 pounds, some people weigh under 100 pounds, some people are stride runners, some people are cadence runners. So can one shoe really optimize performance for every type of runner? I don't think it's possible, but can something work well for a lot of different people? Yeah. So I'm curious to see when I try that shoe out how it feels to me, but I wanted to have a baseline. So I'm running a marathon in 3 days. There's that cardinal rule, nothing new on race day. So I don't just want to take that Puma shoe out and try running a marathon in it without using it at all, but I want to compare it to the Alphafly today because this is the shoe that I'm going to wear as of this moment. So I'm going to try and run a couple miles at marathon goal pace in the Alphafly 3 and really pay attention to the efficiency, how it feels to me, the level of effort to run that speed and those miles. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing in the Puma. So unscientific test, this is just going to be by feel, but how the shoe feels to me trying to go marathon pace, which one feels easier, which one feels more comfortable, more efficient, what I'm going to want to use for that marathon in a few days. Okay, now things are going to get a little bit out of order here because I switched to the Puma, and what I'll normally do is take some footage of the shoe, film me running in it a little bit, talk about the last shoe that I wore, then running this and then talk. But I literally started taking a few steps like I was going to start filming, and I was like, wow, what's going on here? And I kept going and I just didn't want to stop. So I ran the first mile in the Puma, and I sounded skeptical at the beginning of this video. That first mile makes me a believer. It was a 6 something, I'm not sure exactly what. Again, my goal today is trying to run like 7:37, but I'm feeling pretty fit right now, and these shoes are so fast, it's kind of hard to hold myself back. But I wasn't putting that much effort into the shoe. It just wants to go fast. It's like Ricky Bobby, it just wants to go fast. And so light, so propulsive, so smooth. Really big difference from the Alphafly in feel. And what I mean by that, I think I ran like a 7:19 and like a 7:30, something like that, in the Alphafly the first 2 miles. I'll get the exact numbers when I get back. But the Alphafly is much more mechanical. I think it's about 1.5 ounces heavier than this shoe. I'll get that when I get back as well. But it's all about the air pods with the Alphafly. I'm midfoot striking in that shoe. I'm not really feeling that much bounce from the Zoom X. It's really more getting me right to the AirPods. I'm able to put all my weight into those AirPods and have them bounce back and give me a nice spring. So I feel like with the Alphafly, the shoe's running you more than you're running the shoe, meaning it's designed in such a good way to give you that efficiency if you just let it do its thing. So you just go through your gait cycle, let it bounce you to your next step, and it gains its efficiency by giving you that propulsive bounce from the AirPods. So it does reduce your level of effort because you kind of are just letting it bounce, put your weight into the AirPods, let it return, but it feels more slower, more mechanical. This shoe is like a rocket. It just, I'm also midfoot striking, so the fact that that heel bevel is kind of cut away is not bothering me at all. I'm touching the heel a little bit when I first land, and then it's getting you right onto the rocker, and the foam is giving you a nice propulsive bounce, but it's 100% a forward bounce. It's not up and down. It's not trampoline like. It's more that Vaporfly 2 falling off a cliff forward feeling, where it just keeps you driving forward. So incredibly propulsive, and this is the lightest shoe I've ever run in. So I think it's got to be these. I'm going to do a couple more miles. The only thing I don't like about using these for a marathon is that I have such little experience in them yet, but so far I'm getting no rubbing, no issues with the fit, and it just feels light and fast and excellent. All right, well, I just ran like a 6 something and then a 7:02. So the hype is real with this shoe. This may be the fastest shoe I've ever run in. Again, I've run 2 miles in it, so I'm not ready to say that definitively yet. But just from a first impression, I really got to match this up with the Asics Metaspeed Edge Paris, because those are the two. Those are the 2 fastest shoes that I've ever run in. This is the only shoe that I have that's lighter than that Asics, but they're very close. I think it's like a couple tenths of an ounce. So not a lot of difference between the weight between them. But this one has more of that bouncy feeling. I feel like the Asics shoe is a bit firmer, so I think this would actually work better for me than a marathon, than the Asics shoe. This is the type of shoe that, to me, I usually like more for shorter races when it's this light, but it does feel like it has enough cushioning in the forefoot, and it has that assistive sort of propulsion that I'm looking for in a marathon shoe. Now, I'll give an example. I like giving car examples, but I feel like the Alphafly 3 is more like a traditional gas-powered car, where you step on the throttle, it's got to kind of spike the RPMs, get into the rev range, then you get all your horsepower, and then you can get on the highway and cruise at that speed. So it takes a little bit more effort to kind of get it up to speed, but then it likes to hang out at highway speed. I recently got an electric car. I got a Mustang Mach-E, so anybody who hates Elon Musk, I'm not giving him business. But that car has 500 pound-feet of torque, and just the second you step on the throttle, because you can't call it the gas because there's no gas, it just pulls you back in your seat and you just go. And that's what this shoe feels like. You can just throttle up and instantly speed at whatever speed you want to go. Like if I want to just sprint, as soon as I start moving in these, they just respond and you take off like a rocket. So they just have that instant torque of an electric car compared to a traditional ICE car, internal combustion engine, for those not in the know. So first run in these, super impressive. I'm gonna do 1 more mile, try and relax a little bit and see if I can actually run my marathon goal pace. But for 5Ks, 10Ks, I can see this shoe setting PBs for me 100%. I think I am going to use it for the marathon. This was such a good first impression. I had that rubbing issue in the Alphafly. I did seem to fix it by putting those Engo or Ego patches over the heel, but then I also put a padded band-aid over the spot where it gave me the blister, and then put KT tape on top of that. So I had it like triple protected, and then I was able to run without it rubbing. But I'm still not confident that it would work over the course of a marathon. These are giving me no rubbing, no blisters, no irritation. The fit of this upper is like absolutely perfect for me, actually. It's on the tighter side, but it doesn't feel too constrictive. I've got true to size in these. I went with the 12. I got about a thumbnail's length, a little less than a thumbnail's length between my toe and the front of the shoe. So it's fitting me perfectly in a 12, and in a US size 12, coming in at 7.23 ounces is just insane. So very impressive shoe from Puma. So the last mile of me not trying, I think I ran like a 7:02. I was just trying to take it easy for the majority of the mile, but then when I got to like 0.85, I was like, let me sprint at the end here, see what top speed I can get up to. So we'll see when I get back what top speed I got up to right at the end there. But again, seriously impressive debut for this shoe. Incredibly light, lightning fast. I'm not having any issue with stability or rubbing. These ones have me sold. So more to come. Puma, you're killing it lately. This is another really impressive shoe. I just did a review of the Mag Max over there and found that to be a really good max cushion daily trainer. It's much more bouncy than the Brooks Glycerin to me. I enjoyed it a lot more. And Pumas and Adidas both run narrow, but they fit my foot. If you have a wider foot, this is another one that could be a problem. It's narrow in the toe box, but my feet fit perfectly in here. I have just the right amount of room. It's true to size. It just fits like a glove, which is what I'm looking for in a race shoe. And having this little piece sticking out the front, it looks weird, but you really don't notice it at all. You're not like hitting it on anything when you're running, but you can actually feel that little extra bit from the toe off. It really gives you a strong propulsive toe off. The bounce from the forefoot of this shoe feels really great. So it's just kind of using this part right here to get you to this forefoot where you're just enjoying that angle of this plate that really helps you explode forward. So it is just a fast shoe. I initially was a little skeptical of this one too with that heel bevel, the way that that looks. I'm like, that's not going to be stable in the heel. But I did experience with the Alphafly 3, basically does the same thing, and I had no issues with the heel of this shoe. So that made me think, you know, it's worth giving this other one a try. Comparing this to the DV8 Elite 3, one thing that I noticed that was interesting, well, also, if you like the Puma logo on the outside, don't get used to that. There's 2 miles on the shoe and the cat's basically gone already. I think that's one of the ways they save weight, was using the least amount of paint possible to put the Puma logo on the outsole there. But if you actually look at these side by side, the width of the forefoot is actually wider on this shoe than it is on this one, and the heel is about the same. So this one is actually more stable in the forefoot than this shoe is, and the plate is more aggressive. This one is a carbon plated shoe. It's very light as well, but this one, it's more bendable. It's not as aggressive of a plate design. This one, the plate is much stiffer. You can see there the shoe doesn't really even want to bend, but it really just gives you that explosive bounce. I'll put my weight chart up on the screen again. This one was the lightest shoe I had at 7.71 ounces. I averaged it out there since one was lighter, one was heavier. So now I have it on my chart showing the average between the two shoes. With the Fast-R Elite 3, they both weighed exactly 7.23 ounces. So that is the weight. They're both a size 12. The Puma slightly higher. It has a higher drop as well. But that being 7.23 ounces in a US 12 is an incredibly light shoe. I have shoes that are 12, 13 ounces. I have shoes that are double the weight of this shoe. So it's a really impressive weight that they achieved in this shoe. Obviously, comparing it to the Alphafly 8.64 and then the Adios Pro 3 9.45. So it's almost 2.5 ounces lighter than the Adios Pro 3, which is a really big difference over the course of a marathon. And comparing the footprint here between these two, it's the Puma shoe is also wider in the forefoot. It's wider in the heel. It feels more stable than the Asics shoe to me. And this also, the Flake Foam Turbo Plus in this is a very firm foam. It has a lot of energy return, but it's a very firm shoe. I find that I go faster in this over shorter distances where I'm really trying to pick up the pace. But if I slow down a little bit, it doesn't feel as propulsive. It doesn't feel as assistive to me. So this one's really more of like a 5K, 10K shoe, where this one kind of has more of that assistive bounce that I'm getting from this. The Nitro Foam that's Puma's using in this shoe is more compressive, more bouncy than the Flake Foam Turbo. This shoe is 7.79 ounces, so it's very close to the Edge Paris, but the Edge Paris feels stiffer, it feels faster. This feels a little bit softer, a little bouncier, a little bit more comfortable, but it's not as aggressive. So this to me is not as fast. This kind of like splits the difference between those two shoes. It has the softness and the compliance of this one without being too soft. It's not as firm as the Asics, so it kind of has that bouncy, cruisy feeling that I like that this shoe's giving me, but a little bit more edge and power that that shoe's giving me. One of the things that I really like with the Adios Pro 3 is that has more of that natural feeling to me, the shoe over there. I feel like if I'm just running along in that shoe, it feels smooth and kind of effortless. The Alphafly gives you that smooth feeling, but it's more like a smooth, bouncy feeling where it's bouncing you go to the next stride, bouncing you go to the next stride. So you kind of get into the rhythm of the shoe and it helps with your efficiency, but it never feels as natural to me. This shoe just felt nice and smooth and amazing, just tipping you forward onto that plate and springing you forward with every step. Another way that they saved weight with this shoe, the Puma Grip outsole. Technically, this still has Puma Grip, but it has almost no ridges to it. So I imagine this outsole will be more similar to like the Adios Pro 3 Continental rubber, where it doesn't have a lot of ridges, but the rubber itself is grippy. Usually Puma Grip has a lot of these ridges, so I could see this one being better in wet weather than this one. And as far as durability goes, I think this is also going to be better than this one. But that's kind of what happens when we get to these super stripped down light shoes. You know, when your upper is so paper thin the tongue is not even there, you know, this is just not going to be as durable of a shoe. But that's what you bring this out for, is race day, and then you don't run in them other than that. So we'll see how the durability goes on this shoe. Traditionally, Puma shoes and Adidas shoes are very durable, even the race shoes. But I definitely think this is going to be a more durable option than this one. Once I'm done with this marathon, I'm going to try and focus more on speed again and do shorter runs, hill reps, try and improve. I've been doing a lot to improve my aerobic efficiency. Now I want to kind of get my top speed back up again. So I'm kind of switch up my training a little bit. And I'm definitely going to be using these 3 shoes a lot. And I'm definitely going to do a matchup of these 3, because these are the 3 super light, super fast race day carbon shoes that I really like right now. So I'm definitely going to compare these more kind of head to head. I'm really most excited to try these 2 against each other, but the Puma is definitely still another good option there, but this is just like the even lighter, even faster, even better version of this. But it'll be an interesting comparison to see how they stack up against each other head to head. Puma has also priced this at the top of the heap at $300. The Alpha Fly is $285, so this is actually more expensive than the Alpha Fly, which is pretty bold of them to make this the most expensive race shoe on the market right now. But if they got the receipts, you know, they can back it up. It's going to command that price. People are fine paying $285 for the Alpha Fly if it's going to help them get a personal best. And for $15 more, who cares? You're already spending that much money on a running shoe. And to me, it's worth it for those months of training to get the shoe that's going to help you optimize your performance and get the best out of you on race day. Also, I did get 15% off this shoe from Running Warehouse, and I had some credit to the store. So I think it ended up paying about like $230 for these, which is the price of most normal super shoes anyway. So I got a little bit of a deal on it. But if this is going to get you that PB on race day, to me, it's worth it even at full price. So I just have a short shakeout run tomorrow. I'm going to wear these one more time for that shakeout run just to get a little bit more feel for the shoe and solidify that I'm definitely going to use these for the marathon, but I think I've pretty much made up my mind now. So you'll see a video probably, I don't know if I'll get it done this weekend, but early next week about how the marathon went and how the shoe performed for me over 26.2. Because for me, right now, I'm completely sold on this being a speed shoe, being a race shoe, being a short distance racer, but how's it going to treat me over 26.2? Stay tuned and we'll find out. I'll see you in the next video.